Two babies, same hospital, same week, same first-time parents doing everything by the book. One baby sleeps on a schedule, feeds predictably, settles easily, and smiles at strangers. The other screams through the night, refuses routines, startles at every sound, and takes 45 minutes to calm down from a meltdown that started because the bath water was slightly cooler than yesterday. Same love, same effort, completely different experience. And here's what nobody tells those parents. The difference between those two babies was decided before either of them took their first breath. It is biological. It is neurological. And once you understand it, everything about your baby makes sense in a completely new way. For a long time, people assumed that babies arrived as blank slates, that their personality, their temperament, their ease or difficulty was shaped entirely by parenting, environment, and experience. The science dismantled that assumption decades ago. In one of the most significant studies in child development history, the New York Longitudinal Study, researchers followed babies from birth and found something that changed the field permanently. Babies are born with 9 distinct, hardwired neurological traits that dictate how they experience and react to the world around them. These traits are not learned. They are not caused by parenting mistakes. They arrive at birth, and they explain almost everything. Here are all 9. Activity level. How physically active your baby is. Some babies lie peacefully still. Others kick, squirm, and wriggle from the moment they wake up, as if they arrive with somewhere urgent to be. Biological rhythmicity. How predictable your baby's body is. Some babies eat, sleep, and have dirty nappies on a schedule. You could set a clock by from week 1. Others have no detectable pattern whatsoever. And just when you think you'll figure them out, they change completely. Approach or withdrawal. How your baby reacts to anything new. Some babies lean toward new toys, new faces, and new environments with curiosity and openness. Others stiffen, turn away, or cry the moment something unfamiliar enters their world. Adaptability. How quickly your baby adjusts when things change. A highly adaptable baby can fall asleep anywhere and barely notice a disrupted routine. A less adaptable baby will let you know, loudly and at length, if their bedtime shifted by 10 minutes. Sensory threshold. How sensitive your baby is to light, sound, texture, and temperature. Low threshold babies wake at a creaking floorboard. High threshold babies sleep through a siren. Same house. Completely different nervous systems. Intensity of reaction. The volume of your baby's response to everything. When upset, some babies whimper softly and are easily settled. Others go immediately to maximum intensity, screaming, thrashing, entirely committed to the full expression of whatever they're feeling. Quality of mood. Your baby's baseline emotional tone. Some babies arrive sunny, naturally cheerful, pleasant, and easy to delight. Others arrive serious, analytical, or frequently fussy. Not unhappy, but wired to process the world with more scrutiny. Distractibility. How easily your baby can be redirected away from distress. A highly distractible baby stops mid-cry the moment you show them something interesting. A low distractibility baby is completely focused on their discomfort and will not be moved by your colorful toy or your best silly face. Attention span and persistence. How long your baby stays with something. Persistent babies will attempt to reach a toy over and over, determined, patient, undeterred by failure. Less persistent babies move on quickly, easily stimulated, easily bored, constantly seeking the next thing. 9 traits. Neurologically set, present from birth. And the combination your baby was born with is the single biggest factor in whether their first year of life feels manageable or absolutely relentless. Based on these 9 traits, child psychologists group babies into 3 broad profiles. And I want you to listen to these carefully, because one of them is going to sound very familiar. The easy or flexible baby. Around 40% of babies. Regular sleep and feeding schedules from early on. Quick to adapt to changes. Generally cheerful. Moderate reactions. These are the babies whose parents say, "I do not know what everyone complains about. This is fine." And they mean it genuinely, because for them, it genuinely is. The spirited or difficult baby. Around 10%. Irregular schedules that resist every attempt at routine. strong withdrawal from anything new, slow, difficult adaptation to change, high sensory sensitivity, and intense. Everything they feel at full volume. These babies are not broken. They are not badly parented. They are neurologically wired to experience the world at a higher intensity than most, and they need a caregiver who understands that before they can be helped through it. The slow-to-warm-up baby, around 15%, cautious, tentative, initially withdrawn from new people, new places, and new experiences. But, and this matters, they do eventually adapt. They just need time, consistency, and absolutely no pressure to hurry up about it. Push them, and they shut down completely. Give them space, and they surprise you. The remaining 35% of babies are a unique blend, pieces of each profile combined in ways that make them genuinely their own category, which is perhaps the most honest description of what parenting actually is. Figuring out a combination that no textbook fully predicted. But here is the piece of this that most parents never hear, and it is the one that changes the most. A baby is almost never difficult in a vacuum, a concept in developmental psychology called goodness of fit. How well a parent's own temperament matches their baby's plays an enormous role in how hard or easy the experience actually feels. A highly social, spontaneous parent, someone who loves unplanned days, new environments, and lots of stimulation, paired with a baby who craves rigid routine, hates noise, and withdraws from anything unfamiliar, will experience that baby as incredibly, exhaustingly difficult. Not because either of them is wrong, but because a mismatch creates friction at every turn. That exact same baby, born to a structured, home-loving, predictable parent who naturally gravitates toward routine and quiet, feels like a perfect match. The same baby, completely different experience, because the fit is different. This is not about blame. It is about understanding. Because once you name the mismatch, you can work with it instead of against it. You stop interpreting your baby's needs as a personal challenge and start seeing them as a neurological blueprint that simply needs a different kind of response. And before we close, one more thing that every parent of a so-called difficult baby needs to hear. Sometimes a baby who seems impossible to settle is not primarily about temperament at all. They are in physical discomfort that nobody has identified yet. Silent reflux is one of the most commonly misdiagnoses in infancy. Unlike typical reflux, the stomach acid rises and burns, but is swallowed back down before it becomes visible. There is no obvious vomiting. Just a baby who is persistently miserable, arches their back during and after feeds, and cannot be settled regardless of what you try. If this sounds familiar, it is worth raising with your doctor. And some babies have what researchers call a very low sensory threshold, a nervous system so sensitive that ordinary daily life is genuinely overwhelming to them. Normal light levels, normal sounds, the texture of certain fabrics, a room that is slightly too warm, all of it registers as distress. These babies cry from sensory overload, not from unmet needs in any conventional sense. They need reduced stimulation, predictable environments, and caregivers who understand that what feels normal to an adult can feel genuinely overwhelming to them. If your baby has been labeled difficult, and nothing you try seems to help, always rule out the physical before accepting the label. Here is what I want you to carry from this today. Your baby did not arrive difficult. They arrived with a specific, neurologically determined way of experiencing the world, an activity level, a sensitivity, a rhythm, an intensity, all of it written into them before you ever held them. If your baby is easy, that is not because you're doing everything right. It is because their traits and your traits happen to fit well together. Enjoy it. Be grateful. And please, do not offer parenting advice to the parent of a spirited baby, because they are not doing it wrong. They are doing the same things you are, with a completely different baby. And if your baby is spirited, if every day feels like a negotiation with someone who has extremely strong opinions and very limited language, know this. The research on spirited children is clear. The same intensity that makes infancy so exhausting becomes, in older children and adults, the fuel for extraordinary passion, creativity, empathy, and drive. You are not failing a difficult baby. You are raising an intense person. And intense people, when they are understood, supported, and not broken down into compliance, tend to change the world If this video explains something you've been feeling, but could not name, share it with a parent who needs to hear it today. Drop in the comments which profile sounds most like your baby. I genuinely want to know, and subscribe, because every week we go this deep into the science of babies and early parenthood. I will see you in the next one.